to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hello and welcome to episode 21. I am Mosh and I'm joined by the BOOTYGOD. Was that Liu Kang?
That was random, but close enough.
Oh, whatever. Same series. And Waver's here too, right, Waver? Okay.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
Also listening.
Alright, so first things first, the new Call of Duty game. According to recent leaks, it's going to be called Modern Warfare. That's it. Not Modern Warfare 4, just Modern Warfare. Just like Call of Duty 4 was called Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 2019 will be called Modern Warfare. This is from Jason Schreier of Kotaku. The first Modern Warfare was called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, so it's only natural that the fourth Modern Warfare is called Call of Duty Modern Warfare. News of this year's strangely named Call of Duty leaked out via YouTuber Long Sensation this morning. Activision has been showing the game to press and influencers, YouTubers, and streamers. Can we stop calling them influencers, by the way? It's terrible. I hate it. I cannot stand it.
No.
They're not influencers. They don't influence anyone. Especially people on like Instagram. They're not influencers. It's a stupid name. And I don't know who started it, but they need to like suffer. We've heard from many sources connected to Call of Duty World that it is indeed Call of Duty Modern Warfare and that it is a soft reboot of the first one developed by Infinity Ward for release this fall. And keep in mind it says soft reboot of the first one, meaning Call of Duty 4. So it never mentions Modern Warfare 2 or 3, just a soft reboot of the first game. It'll be heavy on troubling, realistic, emotional moments, very much inspired by the controversial No Russian campaign in Modern Warfare 2 that allowed the player to gun down civilians.
Regarding the mention of Modern Warfare 2 and 3, I feel that I want to use the Ratchet & Clank remake as an example. Like, when it came out, we knew it wasn't going to be like a one-to-one copy just with like updated mechanics and graphics. The game kind of took pieces from future iterations of the series and brought them in or made references directly so players could go, oh, hey, that's from the so-and-so game or whatever. So I feel that they might like pretty much change up the story, but like do what Ratchet & Clank did and just give subtle nods to small things that might have been referenced in future games or were heavily loved by fans in future games as well. But
I think this is going to be like a total fan service game, multiplayer wise. Like I think they're going to bring in fan favorite maps from all three games, fan favorite guns, kill streaks, and just like give people what they want or what they've loved for so long. Because what happens to Modern Warfare 2 Remastered? I mean, it's been rumored for over a year at this point. So does that just disappear? Is that included? Like,
I'm pretty sure that thing died down.
what if Modern Warfare is it's going to be the first game, but they do what they did with Infinite Warfare. I think it was Infinite Warfare or Advanced Warfare 1 and 2, where they added the Modern Warfare Remastered like with it.
Yeah, it was Infinite Warfare.
I feel that they could probably do that. I mean, it worked out because you get the first game remade, then you get the second game remastered. God damn it.
Hey man, the dog wanted me in part of the podcast.
The leak said it was going to be like an emotional thing. It was going to be similar to No Russian, and it was going to like be modern day terrorism, which means to me that we're going to get the same timeline of the Modern Warfare series, but the first game we're going to see from a different perspective, a different point of view, different characters, but everything still plays out the same. So my idea is I don't think they're going to make you play as a terrorist because that'd probably be too controversial if you're just killing civilians the whole time.
No, they need honestly, I'm going to say it straight up. No Russian was easily my favorite Call of Duty mission for the longest time until like the whole New Zealand thing happened. And I went to like, I think Black Sun, Sex Sun, whatever it is. We're playing Ramirez in America. But if they really want to double down on the emotional aspects, I'd say like have like No Russian kind of like section, like you play as a terrorist and like between bits and pieces of you kind of transition to like random civilians are being gunned down, please survive, etc. If they really want to hit the emotional part, they have to like go through the links that they know are painfully controversial and would have people up in arms or complaining about it.
Well, that's why I think it's going to be like Spec Ops: The Line, because I'm gonna spoil that game right now. It's been out a few years. Get over it.
I'm a spoiler at this point, man.
I'm not gonna cover everything in the game. I'm just gonna go over like the main things. So in the beginning, you're like a soldier dude. You go to Dubai with your boys. I think you're in like a helicopter, and I think you crash, and your guy has like head trauma or something goes wrong with his. He's mentally just like not there. So he has a radio and he starts talking to a guy. Turns out the guy he's talking to is dead, and it's a hallucination the whole time. Then you carry out this attack on who you think are your enemy. Turns out they were civilians. So like this whole time, you think you're the good guy, but you're really the bad guy. And then at the end, you're pretty much your guy comes to the realization of what has happened, and he meets up with the guy who's dead, but he sees him as being alive, and you're given a few choices. You can kill yourself, or you can have the other guy kill you, but since he's dead, it's basically you just still killing yourself. Or you can be saved by your boys, or you can open fire on them and kill them all, and then that's it. So I think that's the route they're going to take. That's where the emotional modern day terrorism comes in, where you think you're a good guy, but you're actually doing bad things and you don't actually realize what you're doing.
Well, I mean, Makarov's party thought they were doing the right thing, so they already nailed that, surprisingly. And then you have Joseph Allen joining in. He thinks he's doing the right thing. I feel that if they really do take Spec Ops route, we should be in for a much stronger mission than before.
Yeah. See, a lot of people are confused about the soft reboot because a lot of us know what a reboot is. Like, you're basically using the same characters, but you kind of like change the story a bit. Like, God of War is a reboot. They flat out said it was a reboot in that documentary. Kratos is Kratos. His past still exists. It didn't go away, but he's changed as a character.
I think when people like hear reboot, they just assume not. Yeah, I think they just assume it's like a retcon type thing that's happened before. But when it's just more so like, oh hey, remember this old thing? We're gonna bring it back, but we don't want to like just remaster something. So we're gonna kind of maybe tweak it, update it to modern standards, so it's like old fans, new fans can enjoy it.
The whole soft reboot is confusing, but Charlie Intel responded to someone who was confused by that, and they just said it'll make sense when everything's revealed. Robert Bowling also said the same thing. It'll make sense because apparently the reveal is going to be on Thursday, May 30th, and they said that they're revealing a lot of stuff. Like, we're going to get a trailer, we're going to get gameplay, release date, a bunch of information. So this Thursday, we will know for sure. We will have concrete facts of what this game is. And also I said that these games usually get revealed around the NBA Finals, and the finals start on Thursday. Wouldn't you know that? Raptors in 6. This is Kawhi's year. How's that for a prediction? So at least one of my predictions was right. Even if this isn't Modern Warfare. I mean, technically it's the 4th Modern Warfare game. So I mean...
But what about The Last of Us Part 2?
Well, you see, that game got canceled. Also, if this game is not Modern Warfare 4, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses. I'm not going to backtrack or say I was fed false information. I'm going to own up to being wrong. I jumped on that Modern Warfare 4 hype train and I rode it till the end, okay? That's that. Other people on the internet are going to backtrack and make excuses, but not me. I was convinced. If we're wrong, we're wrong. It's the way it is. But yeah, next week we'll obviously have concrete facts and we'll talk about it more. And I'm sure I'll have more questions.
I don't think we've talked about Final Fantasy. I told you about how I watched a video from this YouTube Night Sky Prince, right? Or no, I think I linked into Discord about how they could tackle the whole complaints about the game being quote unquote episodic. They could tackle it the same way they use Final Fantasy 13 and Versus 13, which is now 15, or what the original plan for that was. They can release the first party game, or first half, whichever it's going to be, as one whole game, then release the next part as its own whole game, pretty much. Kind of like how 13 is supposed to be like one massive story, and they can just do that with 7, and I feel that could work, especially since they're more than likely going to take from the compilation, so they're probably going to integrate stuff from For Crisis, Crisis Core, Advent Children, Dirge Cerberus. Like, they're probably going to pull out all the stops to make sure this game like pleases people, because Final Fantasy VII's kind of been in a awkward state since they started adding onto it with the lore and side games and movies and all that. So making it what was it, multi-series, something like that. It was a game, whatever the term I was thinking of. I feel like I could at least stop people from complaining about it being called episodic. We'll just have to wait and see until we get a trailer or any more information from them.
Soon. E3's right around the corner.
I swear to God, if they changed Aerith, I'm going to be angry.
We need a more circular head, please.
And it's just like the vocal minority in Japan, too. I don't see any problem with how she looks. She looks amazing.
Because there is no problem.
Except
I just hope we can hide the Buster Sword. Because it's really big. And seeing Cloud run around with that giant thing on his back is like kind of distracting.
I just want to see what Tifa looks like, first off. And Sephiroth. I need to see what the characters look like, then I'll be worried about everything else.
I think they'll be fine.
Nah, man, I guarantee you, like, they remove even like a centimeter from Tifa's breast, you'll see it on Reddit, 4chan, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere that they like nerf the boobs and like they're bending a knee to what is it? What do they call it? Like SJW culture, whatever.
Oh, don't worry, there'll be mods for that. People will get what they want. And then more. Because they won't just stop there.
I mean, they could also go outside and get a girlfriend and they won't have to worry so much about it. But that's just
that'd be ideal.
But I think it's just easier for them to lower their standards to something that doesn't exist on the same plane as us. But who am I to judge, man? It's 2019. People love what they love, I guess.
Yeah, for better or worse.
There's people that are complaining that's probably not going to be great and all that, but I feel like those are people that have never really finished it, or they're just circle jerking the nostalgia they have playing it when they were like 10 or whatever. So they still believe it's like some godsend of a game.
Well, the biggest thing I'm skeptical about is the combat, but I'm pretty sure at E3 they're going to show like full-on gameplay, like an actual full-on battle, so just little clips here and there. So,
I mean, it looks good. It looks like there's heavy and light attacks.
yeah.
Pretty sure. If I remember correctly, they got the person behind the combat system for Kingdom Hearts 2 to jump on board. So, and Kingdom Hearts 2 had some pretty beefy combat. I'm not gonna lie, it still blows Kingdom Hearts 3 out of the water by a margin. I'm pretty optimistic about it not being like awful, but it could probably be translated decently to a Final Fantasy setting. But where's my turn-based combat? I need my turn-based combat for my nostalgia.
The podcast before E3 is basically just make a bunch of predictions for like each press conference. We're gonna make a bunch of predictions. I'll like write them down, and the podcast after that, we'll see like how close or off we were. But just a heads up, I'm gonna say right now, no release date for that game.
The best we could expect is maybe a year.
I would agree with that. I would say they at least show a year. They'll either say 2019 or 2020 or something.
I think my only problem with 2020 is if the PlayStation 5 actually came out, like would our copy on PlayStation 4 transfer over? We'd have to rebuy it.
No, it's backwards compatible. We're good.
I don't know. I'm still skeptical about that.
Nah, we good.
Lose all my progress and restart.
We good. Just save it to the cloud. We're good.
Yeah, it's in the cloud. You can just save it from there.
The invisible cloud that no one knows somewhere. I think God lives there.
Where you can just upload and download it back on the PS5.
Calm down, atheist.
Waver's definitely an atheist.
No.
I mean, y'all could be Satanists. I really wouldn't care. Like, at the end of the day, what does it matter? We're all dying. We're all fading into that abyss that we came from.
You make a good point.
Wait, that wasn't very theistic of me. I mean, we're all going to go to heaven.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All our sins will be abolished. That person I just ran over the other day. Yeah, I'm going to heaven because of that. That doesn't mean anything.
When I die, I just want to see my dead pets again. It's like the biggest thing for me.
I want to haunt someone, being honest.
It doesn't surprise me.
Like, you can't tell me you've never thought about like who you would want to haunt or try to possess if you died.
I probably, actually, you know what? I'm haunting Waver.
There's no way I'm alone on that. I feel like you guys have thought about that before.
I'm gonna be a ghost and you're gonna start haunting me.
Yep, Waver's getting haunted.
Weaver's probably gonna possess him that's like 600 pounds, so he can eat as much as he wants to.
I'm gonna possess his tortillas, and then he won't be able to eat them.
It's tortilla. With a punch in your throat. Tortilla.
Tortilla, quesadilla. What's the difference?
Okay, on other news, Great Rune.
Don't change
Here's
the subject.
everything you need to know about FromSoftware's / George R.R. Martin's rumored open world game. Honestly, after reading what I read, I am very hyped despite ripping Norse mythology games a new one, maybe, what was it, a few months ago? Critically acclaimed author George R.R. Martin, most nobly known for his book series Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, recently wrote in his blog post regarding his upcoming book. The projects he has been working on, his opinion about the highly polarizing season 8 of Game of Thrones, as well as revealed a tidbit that he's a consultant on a video game out of Japan. This information classed an early leak this year that FromSoftware, the studio responsible for likes of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and the most recent Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, has hired George R.R. Martin as one of the lead writers for the upcoming open world game. As of now, more information has flourished in, and we may have some concrete details as to what this exciting project is all about. Here's everything you need to know about FromSoftware's upcoming rumored open world game. Number 1, it will feature a Norse setting, which obviously from the title, Great Rune.
Is Kratos gonna be in it?
I'm not gonna confirm it, and I'm just gonna let me when I get to that point. I'm sure you'll know your answer. Number 1, it will feature a Norse setting. This information actually comes from an investigative report from Spawnwave and Liam Robertson. Went on to claim that the game is called Great Rune and features a Norse-inspired open-world setting. The above information was also confirmed yesterday by Vadi Vidya, a personality well-known among the FromSoftware community, someone who's heavily in touch with everything going in and around the Souls community. In his most recent video, he confirmed that he has known about this project for a couple of years now because of some inside connection he has. And yet he's now just telling us. It's not like he's under NDA. He could have dropped some hints there. We could have just called him crazy, but that's just my 2 cents. With the recent God of War going full Norse and an upcoming Assassin's Creed game also reportedly is set during the Viking era, please God, no.
Ragnarok.
No.
E3 bets. We'll get to it. Couple weeks, we'll get to it.
I'm not betting, but no, I don't want it.
Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. Lock it in.
Stop.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be called.
It seems like an ongoing trend in the industry lately to venture off into mythology, which is actually a good thing, since not much of this world has been. That is bull, but whatever. Okay, since not much of this world has been explored in video games in the past. Yeah, whatever. Number 2, this game will feature horseback riding, which I'm happy about because that one boss in Sekiro that just blows your eardrums out. For my sake, I'm not going to imitate what he says, despite how comical and amazing it is. I'll just hopefully have Andrew insert a sound clip of what he says, or a video clip, whichever one.
My name is Kyobu Masataka Oniwa! As I breathe, you will not pass the castle gate!
Number 2, the game will feature horseback riding. For the first time in the history of FromSoftware games, it seems the upcoming Great Rune will feature horseback riding as one of its key gameplay mechanics. This also points towards the scope of the world FromSoftware is building for this game. It actually indicates that the world we are going to dive into will notably be a lot bigger in size and scope than previous FromSoftware title, such as Bloodborne or Sekiro, and hence horse riding is a necessary addition to traversing this world. Here's hoping that I cannot speak right now. Speaking's
Dumb, dude.
No, it feels like I was chopped in the throat earlier, and it just hasn't gone away.
You're haunted.
Can they kill me then? Like, I'm sure it's not hard to snap my neck if you're a ghost, whatever. Here's hoping that horseback ride. Horseback ride. I can't. Get 3 words out, then my throat
Specific
hurts.
word for you that you cannot pronounce.
I can pronounce words. I can enunciate. It's just that, like, whenever I get 3 words out, it feels like I just got punched in the throat again. Here's hoping that horseback fighting will also be a thing in this game, which I'm interested in, because usually whenever a game has horseback riding in combat, you know it's gonna be massive. Like Breath of the Wild, that game is massive. I don't want to say Sekiro is massive because it kind of fits the intricate level design that FromSoftware is known for. But if it's anything like Witcher 3, then that's definitely gonna be impressive.
So isn't like the idea that there's multiple kingdoms and you go and you kill the ruler and steal their powers?
Yes, that's actually number 4.
Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, we actually did skip number 3, which is the game is not fully open world, which, never mind, I redact everything I just said. I'm hurt now. I'm gonna go cry in my corner. But even though the upcoming game features horseback riding in a huge world, the game might not be as open as, let's say, Red Dead Redemption. Please God, no. Or The Witcher 3. This information comes from Antonio. I'm not gonna butcher that name. I know it's Italian.
Just say Banderas.
just
Wait.
just try at least pronounce it.
I'm pretty sure it's Italian. Fucito. I'm sorry if I butchered it. I'm pretty sure I did, but my Italiano's not up to date.
It sounded beautiful.
Just go to Google Translate, man, and pronounce it for.
Miserabili peces de mierda. But who wrote on his Twitter account that the game is not fully open world, about which he can confirm. This is mainly because of the limitation of the engine FromSoftware has been using this current generation. However, they have modified the same for his upcoming game. And there's a linked tweet in the article, which I will not bother reading for time constraints. Number 4, story. The game will feature a Norse-inspired setting as already mentioned. The game serves as a true successor to Dark Souls, but will be vastly different from that. According to the leaked information, the game will make the player character traverse to different kingdoms, each of which is ruled by a different lord/king. The player's character role will be defeating each one of them, which will grant them unique powers. With the mention of it being a successor to Dark Souls, it might be in the sense of how you could play as a purely strength or dex or hybrid or sorcerer, pyromancy, kind of like that. I have some hopes it might be like that, because while Sekiro did have some nice variation, the gameplay, I think, now that I look back at it after some time, it kind of falls flat in some areas compared to Dark Souls or Demon Souls or Bloodborne, but that's just the personal 2 cents. Okay, this feature very much resonates with the previous game designs from software titles, and it would be exciting to see how it's fleshed out in this one. Considering George R. R. Martin's involvement may result in a heavy emphasis on lore and narrative. Wouldn't count on, because it's a FromSoftware game, and we know how they like to handle their lore and their story.
Well, see, that's what I'm worried about, because like they focus a lot on combat, which is fine. I mean, that's like the main reason why people play their games. But if you're just going around killing kings for their powers, like, why? Is your character the bad guy the whole time and you're trying to take over the world or something?
There has to be multiple endings. There's no way. I don't think I've ever played a FromSoftware game that has one solid ending. I could see it maybe along the lines of like Dark Souls 1, where you could either keep the flame going, or you can become the new Lord of Hollows, or maybe like Demon Souls. Probably more like Demon Souls, because the endings for Demon Souls is you either free the Boletaria from the fog and that old one, or you can become the greatest demon, second only to the old being or old one, and you kind of screw over the rest of the world. And I feel that that's really the first 2 major predictable endings that they could like kind of transfer over to Great Rune, with the whole I'm gonna go kill your king and take his power.
It kind of reminds me of the original God of War games, where like Kratos was really, hateful and angry, and he was just going around killing gods because he could. And it almost reminds me of that.
Well, I mean, but Kratos has a reason to be angry. I feel that if his wife and child were never killed, he wouldn't like be angry. Like, sure, his brother was taken away, but like he wouldn't really be pissed off like he is now.
I feel like this is almost going to be like the same thing, but just with Norse gods instead of the Greek gods. Like something bad happens to the character and he's just full of rage, and I'm going to go kill everyone now.
I think that's also another problem I have, or not problem, maybe concern. Like, is it going to be a set in stone character, or is it going to be a customizable character? Because I didn't dislike Wolf by any means in Sekiro, but it's just I kind of enjoy having the freedom to make maybe like a serious character that you'd see in the lore, or like a really out of place, derpy looking character that's just going around doing ungodly things.
Yeah. Does it say how many kingdoms there's going to be?
So far no, but I feel that in the upcoming weeks, maybe months, we'll like start getting more and more information about the kingdoms and all that. While Dark Souls 1 had its place, Demon Souls just, I don't know, there's something more, I don't want to say more Norse related, but just it invokes that feeling more than Dark Souls. Because when I'm pretty sure you've seen some Demon Souls gameplay before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see Dark Souls 1, it just kind of seems like if they took the medieval ages and decided to like add gods and all that. But with Demon Souls, there's just something that's oddly a bit more, I don't know, just kind of fits more towards trying to reference for Great Rune. I can't place my finger on it, but I feel like that could be a really good reference for a few narrative points or endings or like mechanics or appearances and armor and all that. But I think this is me just trying to sound intelligent and speculate at the same time.
Well, we might see it sooner than later, because it could be at E3.
At most, I'll expect a trailer, nothing, and maybe a bit of info. That's like the most realistic outcome.
Yeah, if it is at E3, it'll be at Microsoft's press conference, because that's the only one that makes sense.
I'm fine with that.
And Sekiro was shown at Microsoft's last year, so how does this company keep pumping out games? Like,
they're good at what they do, man.
I guess.
And if you want me to be honest, anime. I'm not even joking, anime. Because Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, they're all influenced by the same anime that Miyazaki loves so much. The series is pretty good, but it's not like something you'd want to go up to someone like a casual friend, like, hey, have you seen like Redacted here? Because I don't want to start throwing it out there because it's not really appropriate for younger ages. But yeah, they definitely pull from that and other sources for their games, and they've perfected their craft. I'd say by the time that they got to Dark Souls 1 or 2, they really perfected the system that they're going for and the feeling. Which brings us to number 5, which is the reveal coming at E3 2019. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice was revealed back at the Game Awards 2017 with a short teaser. The actual gameplay was revealed back in Microsoft's E3 2018 conference. Something of similar scope can be expected this year, as well as Great Rune is heavily rumored to be announced at Microsoft's E3 2019 conference this year. FromSoftware earlier confirmed that they have 2 more projects in development aside from Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which released earlier this year. One of them is indeed Great Rune, and other possibly Bloodborne 2. Please God, no. Whatsoever be the case, fans are really excited for this incredible collaboration. 2 masterminds, Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R. These names are killing me, and I'm no. One can only imagine the scope and diversity of the world that they are building together for the studio's next big game. Anyways, what are your thoughts regarding this upcoming FromSoftware game? Are you excited about it, or are you going to ignore this because it's a FromSoftware game after all? Why would you ignore a FromSoftware game? Tell us in the comments down below.
All I'm going to say is I'm intrigued. I don't know about the title of that game, though. Great Rune?
It could be a placeholder because when we got Sekiro, it was just Shadows Die Twice at the moment. So I feel like there's going to be a little added on. There might just be a new title.
Do you think Great Rune could be like the subtitle and there's like the main one yet to be revealed?
I feel like that's what they're going for.
Yeah, that would actually make sense.
Oh, wait. Almost forgot. Sims 4 is free until tomorrow. So if you want the base game, like you keep it forever, go download it on Origins now. It's pretty fun.
It's that time of the month. where I have the top 20 best-selling games of the previous month. So last month, The Division 2 came in at number 1.
That's disgusting.
But will it come in number 1 again? Number 20, Borderlands Remastered, the remastered thingy. Number 19, Battlefield 5. Number 18, Jump Force. Must have been on sale.
You.
Dude, that game is awful.
You. No one should buy it, nor at least I should not touch it.
Waver, you probably have it.
I do not have it. When I saw it, I did not want to touch it no more.
If Waver doesn't want to touch it, then that must mean something.
I don't believe I'm checking right now.
Number 17, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Number 16, Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X, 10-2 HD Remaster combo pack.
That's the Final Fantasy 7 prequel, if you want to be all fancy.
Fancy schmancy. Number 15, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Number 14, Minecraft. Number 13, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Number 12, Mario Kart 8. Number 11, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 10, Yoshi's Crafted World. Number 9, NBA 2K19. Number 8, Black Ops 4. Number 7, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Number 6, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 5, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 4, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. From 1 to 4. Ew. Number 3, MLB 19, The Show. The PlayStation exclusive sports game outsold The Division 2.
I mean, it's not hard to outsell.
Dunked on it. Oh, that would have worked better if it was a basketball game. It's a baseball game.
Home run.
Yeah, home run. There you go. Number 2 is Days Gone, which means Mortal Kombat 11 is your best-selling game of April 2019.
And Combo Breaker just took place last night with Sonic Fox getting his furry cheeks clapped by Scar and his feisty Sonya. I was expecting some DLC reveals last night, but I guess we just have to wait till next week. Talk about who we want for DLC, or at least the first wave.
Dude, it's Spawn. I'm already telling you.
I'm waiting for the Everything Edition that'll come out in like a year or two, but I'm telling you, if Spawn, Smoke, Sindel, or Shiva, one of them, preferably Spawn or Smoke, if they're confirmed, you best believe you'll see me pick up Mortal Kombat 11 sooner than expected.
Dude, Spawn is coming to the game.
They've had his rights since 2010, so
It's happening.
I'm not doubting it. I know it'll eventually happen, but it's just we were hoping for Mortal Kombat 10. And we got all these unnecessary guest characters.
You mean you don't want Leatherface over Spawn?
No.
What about Freddy Krueger?
No. We already had him in Mortal Kombat 9. No one wants him back.
He wasn't that good.
Exactly. He was god awful. Oh my god. I used him less than Striker, and I only used Striker once. That was an awful joke, but my point still stands. No, they really need to be critical with their guest characters. They can't be wasting slots like this, because there's so many characters they could bring back. They could bring back tons of characters from like the 3D era. They could bring back Reiko, Natara, Ashura, Shijinko, Dagon, like all these characters.
Twisted Metal TV show is on the way from PlayStation Productions. Turns out that PlayStation Productions, the newly created studio creating film and screen adaptations of your favorite Sony games, is already at work on a Twisted Metal TV show. The reveal came as Sony Pictures Entertainment Chairman and CEO Tony Vinciquerra spoke to investors at a special event. We'll be working more closely with our colleagues at PlayStation through a new production team they have established on the studio lot to move forward on filming television projects based on gaming IP. We have a TV show we just agreed to get underway that will be developed from IP on PlayStation. It's called Twisted Metal. It's a game that was put out many years ago, and we're going to develop a TV series out of that. He also mentioned the Uncharted adaptation, which will reportedly star Tom Holland, and described it as an advanced development for a film. Twisted Metal was first released in 1995 and had players fighting to the death using various weaponized vehicles. It sounds like it's early days on the project, but if Sony are confident enough to tell investors about it, then it's a done deal. So yeah, here's the thing about that. I'm cool with there being a Twisted Metal TV show. My biggest question is going to be live action or is it going to be animated? Because there's a big difference, and the Twisted Metal world can get pretty brutal. So I don't think an animated version of this would work. So I think it'd have to be live action, but I don't want it to be like cheesy. Because like Sweet Tooth, I mean, he has fire for hair. Like there's a lot of ways they could really butcher this. You know, kind of skeptical there. Also, what network is it going to be on? Is it going to be actually on TV, or are they just describing it as a TV show? And maybe they release it on the internet, on YouTube or something. Like, what network is going to play Twisted Metal? Is it going to be on one of those, like, premium channels, HBO or something that we have to pay for?
Disney Channel.
I'm not against it. The reason I bring all this up is because I have a hard time believing they're going to make a Twisted Metal show and not have a video game to go along with it. This could be them, like, trying to gauge interest if people are interested in Twisted Metal, which they obviously are if they're going to make a show out of it. There's interest there. So surely they would be making a game. Like, they just have to be. I don't know if it's a new game or a remake. If they remade Twisted Metal Black, I'm all in on that because Black's my favorite one. They just need to change. If they remake Twisted Metal Black, they need to add more colors to it because it's a very dark game. A lot of blacks, browns, grays. I know they did that for like the atmospheric effect, but I think you can still have a dark, eerie game. Still have colors in it. I'm not saying you need to drive through Willy Wonka's factory and be, neon greens and pinks, but just add a little bit more color. Or they could remake 2. That'd be cool. Or they could make a new game. But again, I just have a hard time believing they're making a show and there's not a game. Because the people watching the show are going to want to play the game, and people playing the game are going to want to watch the show. And it helps everything. Like, everything works out that way. I fully believe a Twisted Metal game is on the way. On PS5. The other thing is I saw people were worried about this. They were saying, Sony should really focus on their games, or this is going to affect the games. It's not. These are two different, separate areas of the company. The people that make games are going to keep making the games, and the people making the movies and shows are going to make the movies and the shows. They're not the same people. They're different. Sony's been making movies for a while now. Like, this isn't new territory for them at all. So I don't understand why people are worried. Also, I've seen some not unrealistic, but just recommendations for shows that I just don't really see happening. I saw some people saying they want a Spyro show, which could work if they animate it and like made it more of a children's show. The only issue though is Sony doesn't own the Spyro property. Activision does. So they would have to come to an agreement to make it, because this is PlayStation doing all this. I've seen people request Ratchet and Clank. I've seen Jack and Daxter. I don't know how that would work.
No, that wouldn't work. That definitely wouldn't work at all. I can say right now.
Also, we got to keep in mind which of these series actually has a lot of story involved. Like the Uncharted movie, we've known about for a while. There's a lot of story they could go with. I've seen people talk about Last of Us movie. I don't think would work because there's just not enough story to go off it. We only have one game so far. TV shows and movies, if they bomb, this doesn't affect the games. Like if the Uncharted movie sucks, we still know the games are good. If a Last of Us movie's ever made and it sucks, we still know the games are good. So this shouldn't affect the games at all. But I shouldn't say realistic, because it's not owned by PlayStation. But I think one of their games that could be adapted into a TV show that would work out really well would be Detroit Become Human. I think that is a show that could last for a while. I think they could do a lot with it story-wise. But again, Quantic Dream owns it, so they would have to come to an agreement. But of all their games, I think that could be the one that could actually have a really solid show behind it.
I wanted to mention Sly Cooper because throughout the cutscenes in the game, they kind of like make little snide comments about like everyday life, or not like every life, like events. I feel that would be animation worthy, and I know that there was supposed to be like a movie coming out.
Oh yeah, whatever happened to that?
I'm pretty sure it's dead in its crib, right?
I remember hearing about that a few years ago. It's just nothing ever came about it.
If a cartoon could do well, it could probably bring up slight demand for the 5th game to finally come around, since apparently the 4th game sold poorly, and I didn't know this until like maybe a few months ago.
Yeah, I think that's all this is. Like, that's what they've been doing a lot recently. Companies with like gauging if people are still interested. Like, they did the remake of the first 3 Crash games, see if people were still interested. It sold really well. They're redoing Crash Team Racing. It's going to sell really well. There's definitely going to be a new Crash Bandicoot game because people are still in love with it. They remade the first 3 Spiral games, sold well. There's probably going to be a new Spiral game. Like, I think this is just the same thing, just in a different form of media. Like, are people still interested in this stuff? But yeah, if this Twisted Metal thing happens, it has to be a live action. An animated version of it would be too weird to me. And again, this is not going to affect the games. So anyone that's worried about it, just stop. It'll be fine. Everything is fine.
People go into the games or shows. I mean, not the games. The shows or movies or spin-offs, expecting it to be exactly like the games when they're supposed to be more than often their own thing, while trying to reference, hey, it came from this game, but we're not going to make it part of this game because we don't want it to suffer entirely.
Just wait and see. We got a little bit more PS5 news to share. So back when they released some details a few weeks ago, it was confirmed that it will be backwards compatible with at least PS4 games. But there's been a little bit more info. PlayStation 5 players will be able to play with PS4 players. It says PS5 players will be able to play with PS4 players thanks to backwards compatibility. If you nab a PS5 at launch, but your PS4 friends don't, you'll still be able to enjoy your favorite online titles with them. Again, it's all about this seamless next-gen transition that Sony keeps mentioning. Cross-generation play was brought up during the company's most recent investor relations question and answer session. When talking about backwards compatibility in general, Vice President John Codera was quick to add that cross-generation play will be important to the PlayStation community. Keeping existing players invested is clearly of high priority to Sony as it looks to introduce the PS5 supposedly next year. You know, if your boy gets that PS5 on launch day and you're still on your PS4, still play online together. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure Xbox has been doing this for a while. I think when they made Black Ops 1 backwards compatible, like Xbox One players were playing with 360 players and all the other games that are online that they made backwards compatible. So it's nice to see Sony following in those footsteps. So everyone can still play Call of Duty together, can play Crash Team Racing together, you can play whatever together. It's being weird again.
You're being weird.
No, I'm not.
Dude, you're always weird.
What's something weird I've done?
Didn't you make a compilation of you burping and you found that funny?
Sneezing.
Close enough. Something was leaving your body.
Pretty much the one and only person with a sneeze montage on YouTube. So
watch like 20,000 minimum pop up out of nowhere. No royalties to collect either.
I take sneezing very seriously. It's an art. And I'm Picasso.
My point proof.
I paint the canvas with snot and mucus.
I'm pretty sure there's a Facebook video of someone actually did that. I'm kind of disgusted.
All right, time for weekly picks. My weekly pick is a cover of Stairway to Heaven by Mastodon. So they finally released it to the internet, YouTube, Spotify, other services. It was originally released during Record Store Day, and all the proceeds went to pancreatic cancer research because their manager passed away. And during the funeral, they were asked to perform Stairway to Heaven because his favorite bands were Mastodon, Gojira, and Led Zeppelin. So, of course, they played it, and someone recorded it on their phone, and that person just so happened to be the vocalist of Gojira. So they decided to go to the studio and make an official recording of the song, which is what they sold during Record Store Day. And again, they just now released it officially on the internet. It's good. There's the normal studio version and the live version, and the live version is from the funeral, and so that's about as real as it gets. But it is recorded on a phone, so the quality is a little iffy. But the official version is good. It's very good. I don't care about Led Zeppelin or Stairway to Heaven, but I like this song. I like this cover. Covers can be, hit or miss. It usually goes 50-50 with people. A lot of people want you to sound as close to the original as possible. And if you, add your own flair to it, they get mad. And then there's people where if you stay too close to the original, they get mad because they want you to do your own thing. So I think this is a cover that pleases both Led Zeppelin and Mastodon fans. So yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, I also like Mastodon because they've been one of the old, like, not one of the oldest, but they've definitely been around for almost as long as I've been into metal 4th, 5th grade when I got to them, so I will always have like a bias towards like a Mastodon for the most part. And this cover's pretty good.
Also, the drummer does all the vocals on this one.
Brand.
Yeah.
I was actually meant to ask that because Brand really does have some good vocals.
Yeah, the drummer sings this cover, and I think he's the best vocalist in the band, so it works out well.
It's crazy because if Crack the Sky never happened, like his sister never killed herself, like we wouldn't. I feel like we will not have Brand singing like at this point. He'd still just be like drummer, maybe doing backup vocals or something, but like the full on singing, I don't feel we'd have if things went differently, which is a very morbid thing to think about, but that's just how life goes sometimes.
Waver's recommendation, Neo 2.
No, I wouldn't recommend that.
It's an alpha though. It's an alpha. Of course you're not gonna like it.
I'm not gonna like it. I hate it.
Oh, wow. Hate it.
I had problems with it. I had the problems with the Elixir. You only can carry 3. I had a problem where you have to hold buttons to go up the ladder.
Well, you've heard it here. Waver's weekly pick or his anti-weekly pick is the alpha for Neo 2. So if you were given the chance to play it, I guess don't play it.
Don't play it. Might as well don't even look at it. Don't breathe in it, actually.
My weekly pick is a 25 chapter long manga called Rough Sketch Senpai. It is, going off of the description for it, a libido-fueled art comedy featuring the secret art club activities of a delinquent girl and the boy who will make his masterpiece. So it's pretty much, without spoiling anything, delinquent girl. She fights people, beats them up. She's feared. Then you have like this, like, I don't know if he's oblivious or just ballsy art dude that just wants to draw her, and not like in a lewd way, like just like kind of like replicating pieces throughout the ages, like the Mona Lisa, or like maybe poses the Venus de Milo or something like that. Pretty much like that. And it kind of like, it's just like a process, really, like watching it escalate from start to finish, or not really finish, but if anyone's actually interested, Rough Sketch Senpai, you can check it out. If you hate it, oh well. I'm not gonna.
We don't blame you.
Shut up, Waver. I'm not gonna like flow off in a tangent because manga's not life. I'm sorry to the weeaboos out there, and I'm using it to segue into a growing problem that I have that you pointed out recently, which is anime.
Oh, this ain't all me.
Dude, anime is a legitimate concern on society.
It's a worldwide epidemic, honestly.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that have figured out how to rationalize watching anime and being a productive member of society, but more than often I'm seeing on social media and in real life people that just they can't function without anime. And I don't mean that like they can't go out and mention it like once, but it's like they revolve their personality as if that makes them unique or something. Like, oh, hey, I watch so-and-so. I watch Dragon Ball Z. I watch like 20 pounds of hentai on my 1 terabyte computer or something. Like, it's almost daunting and disheartening to see like how anime is tearing people apart from the, oh, my waifu, or I swear she may look like she's 13, but I swear she's like 9,250 years old, man. I swear to God, she's legal. She just happens to look like a child. I swear I'm not a lolicon. I swear I'm not a pedophile.
It's a mental illness.
Honestly, with some of these people really is. I feel like the line between reality, pleasure, and fiction is just like blurred at that point. It just became a giant cluster, an unhealthy cluster at that. And don't get me started on the people that make a big deal of fan service. Like, you know me, Andrew. You know I don't hide that I like butts and boobs. I'm pretty sure I've made that obvious multiple times throughout the years that you know me, but it literally does not encompass my personality, though, is what I'm like saying. Like, even though I like what I like, it doesn't overwhelm me. It's not something that would detract from who I am or make me become a need or a shut-in or something. It doesn't detract from me being productive in society. That's all my other interests that overwhelm it. But with most of these people, it's becoming a legitimate problem. It's becoming kind of scary because some of these people don't realize this is reality. This is their anime crap show where they can say this or do that or think this and they get away with it, or like it just stays like that. Honestly, I'm recommending therapy to some of y'all. Y'all need to go seek help.
I second that.
And this is coming from someone who has literally been watching anime since the age of 3. Dragon Ball Z and the original Dragon Ball. I started with that. Sailor Moon as well. I've been watching this since I was pretty much a baby. And I'm telling y'all, go get help. Don't let it become a problem. Because this is like a masturbation epidemic 2.0 magnified. Go get help. Stop it. I'm sure there's someone that cares for you and they don't like seeing how you're going on the downward spiral. Go get help.
Friggin' weebs. Go move to Japan already.
No, that's a better thing. They won't. There's like, talking to my friend last night, apparently there's like at least 5 alphabets now. I thought there's only 3, but there's 5 apparently. And they're intertwined, more importantly. So all those people that come out of high school fresh think, oh, I'm gonna move to Japan, I'm gonna become a manga artist. Yeah, no. Japan is definitely not the kind of society you want to aim for, because they are so stressed, and how the parents are more than often not in their child's lives, so they don't have like that positive influence or the right crowd to follow.
That place ain't no paradise.
A few years ago, you heard about the I don't know if it was a Chinese or Korean student that committed suicide in the middle of class by jumping out the window?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Japan has stuff like that going on as well, because Asian societies are so high strung. I don't see how people can legitimately think that's healthy in the ideal society. Their birth rate is going down because more people are becoming shut-ins. That just pretty much, the shut-ins are worse than the weebs, because at least weebs can associate with people, even if those people aren't good choices to associate with, but nonetheless they can associate and get out once in a while. Shut-ins are completely worse. I will leave it at that before I turn this into like a 3 or 4 hour tangent of me spurging out. But bottom line, if you like anime, you like manga, keep it at a healthy level. Monitor what's in it as well, because there's some things that shouldn't be going on there. Lolicons. Don't be a weirdo. Don't be a weeb. Be normal. Very
sad moment in human history.
Granted, I'd still visit Japan, but I'm not going to go spurging out acting like I know everything about the culture. I'd probably go to like Tokyo or Nara, go sightseeing in popular tourist areas and call it a day and be like, oh yeah, Japan was nice or whatever. But I think it's what I'm trying to argue is moderation, and don't get into weird stuff, really. And shout out to the weebs on Call of Duty. All of you suck. Freaks of nature. You think we care about your prestige master? No, we don't. You think we care about your stupid emblem? No, we don't. Because at the end of the day, that's all you have. I'll say it. No one else wants to say it, but they're thinking, I'll say it. No one cares.
But they have to let the world know.
So they can keep going 40-0. And hey, if someone can call me out for being salty, oh man, I'm salty, but guess what? I'm not a weeb at the end of the day. I don't need Call of Duty for just self-justification.
Amen to that.
Okay, I'm done. I swear, now I'm off my soapbox. Now I'm done. I swear.
So is that your weird thing?
Yes. Because it's been eating at me for years. It wasn't until when you started pointing it out that I've actively been like searching for this stuff, like the signs.
Well, because like I'm an outsider to that world, so I think I see things differently. Like from an outsider's perspective, that's how I view it. And it's just like, it's not healthy.
Dude, your perspective's really not that far off. If I had to gauge it on like a scale, I'd say it's like a 95% accuracy right there. There's some things that people should not be seeing, creating, or getting into, but people like what they like at the end of the day.
Well, that kind of leads into my weird pick of the week. A real life pastor was playing VR chat, and he decided to hold a church service where he baptized an anime girl. What kind of
You triggered waiver.
Was that waiver?
Yes. I swear, you've heard me sneeze before. That was waiver.
Dude, that was so loud. Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure that was Woody.
So yeah, during this VR church service, baptized anime girl. She was hugged by a banana afterwards, and then SpongeBob came in and like soaked up the water or something. I don't know. It's weird.
When you said pastor, I got really scared for a second, thinking it was gonna be the pastor that did some awful things to that 12-year-old.
I mean, what's the difference?
I guess Waver's weird pick can be his sneeze.
That was deafening. That was like corrupted level of sneeze.
That was like a Mach 6.
I think he died.
No, what sneeze?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
He ejected more force than a black hole spewing out crushed material.
Yeah, maybe he didn't sneeze. Maybe it was just my eardrum rupture. Who knows?
I guess that's it.
Yep. Anyway, that's going to be it for this week. So thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Later.